Okay, but we know,
In the court of law, they put it in the court roll.
but we
It has
know,
happened many times.
yes. We know in this instance that didn't happen, at least as far as your statement is concerned.
Yes, you are correct.
The MPD didn't take it over.
Yes, you are correct.
So it gets back to the question, why did you go?
No, I didn't know that they were SAPS members. As I've said that I wanted it to be our success. That's why I woke up. And it's not for the first time, as I've said that, to wake up when I'm called by Yako. I woke up, I can't count, you see. Not even Yako, informers. We've got different informants that will call you. You woke up, or it's during the day or at night.
Okay.
Sometimes we'll call by members who are with the informant too.
I'm more interested in those who are not EMPD members, those who are not police officers.
Yes.
That they have the power to wake you up
Yes.
to come see a success
Yes.
that doesn't find its way into any police record. The success is not recorded in any police record thereafter. And you find that normal. You do it often, as you say. You go just to see.
I'm lost.
We can leave that.
All right. You are called, you are told about success. You do not ask whose success. You do not ask whose operation. You do not ask who's there. You just up and go. Do you want us to believe that?
I did that many times, Commissioner. I won't lie to you.
You just up and go.
Yes, different.
No facts. It could have turned out to be nothing. It could have turned out to be a damp squib. You just up and go at 2 a.m. And you want us to believe that.
And you are correct, and it has happened. When you go there, find out it's not an information. It's this thing that it doesn't even need you to.
It turns out that it has happened that it would turn out to be nothing at all.
You are correct.
But you continue doing this, and to the extent of even doing it at 2 a.m., you just do it.
As I've said,
and you want us to believe that that's how you operate.
As I've said that with Yako, most of the time you will get success, Commissioner. With Yako, most of the time, I repeat, you'll get success.
The operative word being most of the time, meaning even with him, there could be nothing.
It depends. I agree.
But still, 2 a.m. None of the questions that I raised when I started engaging you now, none of those questions are answered, and at 2 a.m. you just up and go.
Suspended Ekurhuleni Metro Police Department Deputy Chief Julius Mkhwanazi has rejected explosive allegations made by the late Marius van der Merwe, known as Witness G, who previously told an inquiry that Mkhwanazi played a role in disposing of a suspected thief's body. Testifying before the Matlanga Commission of Inquiry on Wednesday, Mkhwanazi dismissed van der Merwe's account as false. The slain witness had alleged that Mkhwanazi instructed him to dump the body of Emmanuel Mbenze in a river in Brakpan in 2022. Van der Merwe, who was gunned down at his Brakpan home on December 5, 2025, testified that last year that his bakkie was used to transport Mbenze's body. He claimed Mkhwanazi was present, overseeing the operation as the body was loaded, and Sir Julius Mkhwanazi was still in the yard, supervising the whole issue of disposing of the body. He further stated that he had been instructed to dispose of the body at Spa Water Dam, but deliberately chose not to submerge it, hoping it will be discovered. Instead, I did not place it inside the dam because I was hoping that someone would discover it. During Wednesday's proceedings, evidence leader Advocate Mahlape Silo revisited this testimony, directly implicating Mkhwanazi in Mbenze's death. The inquiry also scrutinized Mkhwanazi's account of events linked to a late-night call from police informer Jaco Hennekom. Mkhwanazi told the commission he had been woken at 2 a.m. by Hennekom, who urged him to witness what he described as a success involving the recovery of a truck carrying stolen goods. However, under questioning, Mkhwanazi failed to explain why the incident was never formally recorded when he reported for duty later that morning. He said he had been angry and disappointed with Hennicom for failing to provide anything tangible and insisted the matter did not qualify as an EMPD success. Pressed on why he responded to the early morning call, Mkhwanazi said, I just woke because I wanted to be our success. Commission Chair Mbuyiseni Madlanga challenged the logic of his actions, noting that the situation could easily have amounted to nothing. Mkhwanazi maintained that Hennicom's tips were usually reliable. Silo, however, suggested that Mkhwanazi's version was improbable and incomplete, arguing that the more credible account remained that of Van der Merwe, and said, I wanted to suggest to you that your evidence is as sparse as it is, and as improbable as it is because you did not want to tell us what actually happened. Mkhwanazi responded and said, I didn't see anything. The commission also heard that the Independent Police Investigative Directorate IPID had contacted Mkhwanazi in 2023 regarding allegations that he had instructed others to move a body. Mkhwanazi sought to cast doubt on Van der Merwe's credibility, claiming the witness had contradicted himself in earlier statements. He also denied being the burden man identified at the scene by police revisist Alexander Fritz, arguing that police regulations prohibit him from keeping a beard. Beyond the allegations of wrongdoing, the inquiry examined Mkhwanazi's financial dealings with Hennicom. He testified that he had invested 100,000 rand in a car reselling venture proposed by the informer, who he said had previously worked in clothing sales before the COVID-19 pandemic disrupted his business. Mkhwanazi claimed he later grew suspicious after learning from Hennicom's wife that he was involved in drug-related activities. But Advocate Silo challenged this narrative, pointing out that the absence of proof that the 100,000 rand investment was ever made. She further suggested that a series of payments, 1,600 rand, 15,000 rand, and 65,000 rand received by Mkhwanazi within a short period were not reimbursements as he claimed, but proceeds linked to a hijacking syndicate. Justice Mbuyiseni Madlanga rejected his explanation, calling it senseless and implausible, and accused him directly of not telling the truth. Mkhwanazi maintained he saw nothing and left when he realized SAPS was involved. That claim is disputed. Court Commissioner Sesi Baloyi also questioned why Mkhwanazi failed to account for EMPD vehicles at the scene. Mkhwanazi has also denied any involvement in the kidnapping of the attacks on his departmental spokesperson. Julius Mkhwanazi distanced himself from the 3 incidents that happened to EMPD spokesperson Kilobogile Tepa in July 2024, in which she was attacked, kidnapped, and had a firearm pointed at her. Tepa previously told the commission that she believed the attacks were related to how she responded to and handled media inquiries about the Blue Light saga linked to Mkhwanazi and Vusimuzi Matlala. Responding to the allegations, Mkhwanazi told the commission that Tepa had faked her tears when she narrated the story to the commission, and said, I strongly deny those allegations. My character has been assassinated. My character has been badly dealt with. When my kids open social media, they see a kidnapper, and adding that such actions were not in his character. What's your take on this one, people? Thanks for watching. Please subscribe for more news.